美国记者终于摊牌了。
第一段
have peace in their hearts, they have respect to one another, they have respect to foreigners. So never listen to that nonsense where they say they discriminate against foreigners. That's absolutely lies. These people respect you, in fact, if you are a foreigner, sometimes more than their own people. China is really the place to be right now. And this is the place where I feel safe. I feel safe of having my baby here and my wife here. China is a riot-free country. Look, it's not even in the nature of Chinese people to protest and make a big hoo-ha. They are not people like this. And they don't need to do it because their government look after them so well that they don't need to stand up against their government. They are being looked after so bloody well over here in China. And that is something the rest of the world can only dream about. Here in China, there's peace on the streets. Again, these people don't have to protest against their government because their government take care of them in a perfect way. It's a perfect system.
第二段
That is sadly less and less true. Patriotism and national pride are on the rise. You know, for the first time, people in China feel proud to be Chinese. So why does all this matter? I think it matters because we in the US are in danger of falling behind and not even realizing it as China races into the future. Instead of pointing fingers and instead of trying to keep China down, which won't work anyway, I think we need to focus on how to make America more competitive, how to drive innovation. I just fear that if we delude ourselves.
第三段
people, I guess.
It's just so different from Europe, so I would like to see like how people live. I imagine it's to be a lot different from Europe.
Many million people, I will have problem to recognize them, who is who.
Friendly people, was nice, very good food actually. The Chinese restaurants in Sweden are not anything compared to the real ones, of course, in China.
Everybody seems kind of kind, you know, a calm and nice place, you know.
The culture, the food, language.
It seems very nice. The food, the people, very energetic.
Something that Chinese people can do that American people cannot do.
I was going to say speak Mandarin.
Speak Chinese.
Speak Chinese.
Speak Chinese for the most part.
I think they get along better with each other than we do, yeah.
They definitely play table tennis as a culture, it seems, better than Americans as a whole.
Math.
Not all American people can use chopsticks.
Courtesy at the highest level, on a societal level.
Societal level.
Yeah.
That's deep. So, other than the Great Wall, name two famous sort of scenic tourist spots in China.
The Bund in Shanghai, the tower that has the balls on it. That's a good one.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
The Oriental Pearl Tower?
Yes, that one.
Terracotta, is that?
Terracotta Warriors.
Warriors, yeah.
Forbidden Palace and the Temple of Heaven.
The Forbidden City.
The Imperial City in Beijing.
Terracotta soldiers.
I thought that was at the palace.
That's in
Oh, okay. The Olympic compound.
This just means I will have to take a trip to China because I have no idea.
Don't know.
The Buddhist temples. Is that right? Tiananmen Square.
The Forbidden City, the Warrior Palace, I believe that is called.
Victoria Peak.
Victoria Peak.
Forbidden City. Temple of Heaven.
What about the Terracotta?
第四段
The total number of combined responses is well over 5,000 now. And 97% of those responses are not just positive, but super positive. Thank you so much for writing this article. You said the words exactly what's also been bothering me for so long. And these words come originally from the people who read it in LinkedIn. So this is people outside of the United States. 70% I noticed are white, like professional, white-collar level Chinese and Asian who are outside of China because they're reading it in English in LinkedIn. So about 70%, but also 30% foreigners, not Asian, people from America and Europe, also united under this message. This is not right. This should not continue and should not be going on, but especially.
第五段
So it is consistent with the law of the sea. It's the international understanding of what innocent passage is.
The United States is not a party to the UNCLOS. Isn't that correct?
So we have conducted freedom of navigations. Yeah. So it
seems to me that you have just decided that that they're excessive because under the terms of a treaty to which you're not a party.
So they have asserted requirements for vessels transiting, and it is inconsistent with international law of the sea. The U.S. operation, our freedom of navigation challenges that as these signatories.
But you didn't. But you ignored them. Basically, this ship just barged in without
consistent with international
maritime law. But I mean, you didn't notify anybody.
No, we
you just went in.
Them.
But that's my question is, who decides whether a claim is excessive?
So it is the international law of the sea. It's my understanding that determines.
You're not a party to the international law.
But this is a common understanding among these claimants.
Well, do they say that their own claims are excessive?
So there's 3 nations that have.
Any of them accept your saying that their claim is excessive?
So we were operating in accordance with international maritime law.
Do any of them agree with you that their own claim?
No, igual, bueno, él ya.
Desde que era muy chiquitito me parecía muy exótico ir a restaurantes chinos y la comida china me parece, siempre desde muy pequeño me pareció muy atractiva.
Y en cuanto a la población,
the situation is controlled and it's okay.
In China, it's nice. Yeah, so the current situation is very good. I think the government is doing a really good job here.
I think they were much quicker to react and to do testing. It's much better here, and tracking. It's much better.
I think there's no place I'd be happier right now, actually. Yeah. China handled it so well. I look at the rest of the world, I'm so thankful. I wouldn't have a job if I was at home.
Yeah,
so,
same.
Yeah.
With humility, determination, and boundless confidence in America's promise that I accept your nomination for President of the United States.
That was the fundamental kind of where they landed, I guess, at the end of their administration when it came to their framing on China. We're going to take them on. We can't afford to work with them on anything. We're going to use all the rhetoric.
Things were beginning to change. What did it all mean for the rest of the world? So much has been achieved over the last 40 years for the standard of living of the Laobaixing, of the average person living in China. And my guess is that as China becomes more self-confident, so she will actually welcome having more foreign businesses having equal access in China, because it is competition that drives up the quality both of
第11段种赢法啊，第一种就是立刻就把中国给打怕了，我们呢从此什么都听美国的，我们呢停止在科技经济领域啊与美国逐渐形成的竞争态势，中断迄今为止的强劲发展和民族复兴。我们在台湾问题上让步，在南海问题上已经把这条路给它堵死了，已经堵死了。但是呢，美国还有第2种赢法。 怎么赢呢？就是状态，促使中国经济呢不断萎缩，然后我们的社会逐渐失去活力、失去张力。所以老胡主张，面对美国的打压，我们呢不。
第12段。
Do you think the Russians don't know that for the first time since John Glenn was sent up to orbit this planet? America cannot put a person into space without asking the Russians to do it? That we're not investing in the young generation of Americans? That we're willing to lose the race for artificial intelligence to the Chinese when China is rising? China's GDP has quadrupled since 2001, tripled since 2003, doubled since 2009. Do we think that no one in the rest of the world knows all of that about us? For 10 years. for 10 years, Madam President. And now we're here with the government shutdown over his broken promise.
第13段
He doesn't want to open up a rail line if they're not going to make any money.
Yeah.
And then the ones that they are making money on, they just want to keep pushing the prices higher and higher. So actually train travel in the UK has become kind of more of a thing for wealthier people, because normal working people can't afford to use trains now in the UK, you know, which is it's mad.
Again, trains? What are those things? Like, as an American, I mean, train travel is... In America, we have like Amtrak, and those trains are old, the rails are rickety. What are we traveling? We are traveling at 306 kilometers an hour at this very moment. And do we even feel it?
That, would you?
That is
you can
crazy.
coffee sat on the side here without even you know.
Oh, you know, you don't. I think that unless you've been to like Japan has a very good travel industry. Very good travel.
Germany and France are not too bad. But I think China now has way more than all of those countries put together. You know, they've made that as like a mainstay of.
第14段
I think for the springtime and the summer, I will play the piano and do the victory concert. It will be a China victory concert that we will do all around China. We will have a great time.
第15段
河山聚在我们里，祖国一多年未亲近，可是不管怎样也改变不了我的中国心。
第16段
的气氛，但真的是人山人海。如果你不喜欢那种人多的地方，那我估计不会喜欢这个。但是吃的都非常好，所以我强烈推荐你来。鱼头，我在外边看了这个店烤了这个生蚝，看着特好吃。然后我也点了蟹脚面还没到，咱们这儿。终于都到了，还点了一些杨梅、蟹脚面，看多丰盛，哇塞，哇，太香了，太香了，太好了，那酸味儿很充足，哇，太好了。可能觉得哎，司徒来武汉不吃日干面，不吃小龙虾，怎么会？因为我第二站就是赤壁，赤壁的小龙虾挺好，所以我等到我在赤壁的时候我才吃日干面。我一会儿在外面点，但是先要把这个吃完。That is bloody good。杨梅 goodbye。这我以前看了那4个字人间。
第17段，
人围上来喊：“来 ，taxi taxi taxi！” 当时我们已经坐了20多个小时的飞机，都不知道这些人是从哪里冒出来的。
当时我就慌了。
当时的西安真的到处人都超级多，哪都很吵，非常有生活气息。来之前我知道中国的兵马俑，但是不知道就在西安。到的第一天，我们挤了公交，我老家人特别少。所以我第一次知道原来公交是需要挤的。当时车上所有的空气都站上了人，我和另外2个。
第18段，
因为当时我来中国，当时我告诉我爸，我在大学的时候学中文，我爸非常反对。他说中国是发展中国家，他说你学就是对不起哈大家哈，他说中国是发展中国家，你学这个语言没有用处，你学这个语言没有用处，然后我记得当时我告诉了我美国那边的朋友啊去中国，他们说小心很危险， 怎么样，是吗？
都会这么说，没有，
不，
在我们国家，
我是说我的朋友当时会觉得会跟姜老师的想法，但是什么时候开始有改变？而且什么时候开始有改变？是2008年有奥运会的时候，那个时候我记得。
第19段。
And it was usually a fairly earnest affair. The incoming journalist would be informed of the relevant rules of regulations which attended his accreditation. And then, in my case at least, and that of several other colleagues that I knew, he would be given a warning. And that was, always remember that whatever you write about China, it will not have the smallest effect on how our country develops. In my case, the veracity of